Hello, and welcome to a viewer-submitted Sudoku. This is a puzzle from Walking Writer. Um, this was submitted to me way back in May. Like I said, I'm very behind, but I just came off of solving the Ferrum puzzle by Rock Rat Zero. If you haven't seen that, you should check out that video from I think probably a couple days ago is when I posted it. But it is finally time to take on this puzzle, do Tom justice, after keeping him on hold for so long. I'm always excited to solve his puzzles, and this should be no different than normal, I expect. So, with that rambling, it is called The First Set is Free by Walking Writer. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits along a diagonal cannot repeat. Digits separated by a black dot have a 2-to-1 ratio. Digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. Not all black and white dots are shown. And digits a chess knight's move apart cannot be the same. So we've got a diagonal crop key anti-knight puzzle here. So we have these blue indicated diagonals. The digits may not repeat along them. So this diagonal will contain the digits 1 to 9 once each, and so will the other one. So even though there's no Sudoku reason why this couldn't, let's say, be a 9, 6, 8, or 4, it's not allowed to be those digits by the diagonal rule. Then we have our crop key dots. So our black dots represent a 1 to 2 ratio. So one digit is twice that of the other. Those would be our pairs 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 8, and 3, 6, where 5, 7, and 9 will never find themselves on a black dot because 5, 7, and 9, when multiplied or divided by 2, will not yield normal Sudoku digits. Then we have our white dots. So white dot is just a difference of 1. Consecutive just means a difference of 1. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, so on and so forth up the line. Those are consecutive pairs. And the fact that not all black and white dots are shown just means that even though there is no white dot here, doesn't mean this couldn't be a 5 or 7. And just because there is no black dot here, doesn't mean this couldn't be a 3. This is allowed. You're allowed to have a white or black dot relationship even without the dots present. Then, for the final piece of the puzzle here, we have anti-knight rules. So, if this cell here was a chess knight, thank you, then it would move 2 cells in one orthogonal direction and 1 cell in the other. So if we do all the possible combinations of 2 then 1, we would get these 8 digits here, or 8 cells here. So even though this should be able to be a 9, let's say normally, this would see this by anti-knight rules. So normally this can only see these cells here, but now with anti-knight it additionally sees these 8. So with that, those are the rules. Let's just jump right into it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the puzzle here. So let's see what we can do to start. All right, well, 1, 5, 7, and 3 must go in these cells, and 7 must go somewhere here, and 5 must go somewhere here because of our anti-knight rules, right? We get the shape there. But other than that, 2, 4, 2, 4. This will be 6, 8. It can't be 8, 4, so it must be 6, 3 with 8 here. Am I going to try to do this without pencil marking? I guess we could give it a try. You never know how it works out. This will be 4. This will be 2 here. I'm sorry, I didn't really explain that. So obviously this can't be 8, 4, so it has to be 6, 3. That gives us 8 here. Then that limits us. We can't have 3, 6 or 4, 8. So this has to be either 1, 2, or 2, 4. So that's why we get the 2 here, because of the 2 in the corner, and the 2 tells us that of the 2, 4 here, this must be 4 and this must be 2. I did a little bit of jumping around. That wasn't very clean. All right, that wasn't very cleanly explained, is what I'm trying to say. So 2 in one of these two cells. Can we do better? Yes, we can. We can actually get 2 in this box here. And 2 then tells us this has to be 2. And then 2 here tells us that something, I'm sure. This can't be 2 by our diagonal, so we get 2 here. And 2 here gives us 2 here. And 2 here should give us our final 2. And that is all 9 2s there fairly quickly. 5, I completely missed 5 6, so this will be 5 4. 4 just Sudoku gives us that. We're left with 4 in one of these two cells. Can we do better? Obviously, if this is 4, we'd have the answer, but... Hmm. 4 goes in one of these two cells. It could be 4 3, but it couldn't be 4 5. See, all those first bits just seemed very straightforward, and now I'm like, where in the world am I supposed to go with this? 6 will have to go in one of these two cells. I don't see a way to do better. Seven, 8, 9 is not going to do anything for us there. 1, 4, 5, 6, 9 is not going to do anything for us here. So what's the piece that we're missing? One, 3, 5, 7. 5, 7, 5, 7. This is a 1, 3 pair along the diagonal, and this is a 5, 7 pair along the diagonal. Can we do anything with that? 1, 3 pair. So this plays like the 5, 7 does, I guess, because if this is 1, then these two have to be 1, and if this is 3, then these two have to be 3, and the same is true in reverse. What that means is essentially we're left with 2 options in each of these cells, and it's just kind of like a chocolate teapot. We're going to have some sort of something that will help us resolve it all. Question is what is it? 3. I was so I was looking at this here and I was like, oh, well, maybe all of these cells do something. All these cells see this, right? So if this is 3, well, this couldn't be 3. It has to be from 5 or 7, but let's just say it was. If this was 3, it would see all of those cells, right? But there has to be something better. Like this sees this cell and this cell. So if this was 3, for example, then we would actually know that 3 would also go here. But if this was 1, then 1 could go here or here as an option. It doesn't restrict us that much. Obviously 5 here. So if this was 5, then it would just place 5 there, but that's fine. There's no problems with that. That would give us the 5 there, and then everything else would resolve nicely. Hmm. Maybe we will have to not be stubborn and actually pencil mark. This was 1. Then that would place one here. So then one would go there. Hmm. 8 like 6 has to go in one of these two cells, which would place 8 in one of these two cells. See, 5 or 7 here, or here, does restrict cells. Like 5 here would restrict all of these cells, and like I think we already said, we could place the 5, right? And then 5 would go here, and life moves on. But I guess this is something to consider, right? Like 5 is going to end up somewhere down here, which means we actually would have, yeah, we'd be able to fully resolve 5s if that was the case. Yeah, that's a little bit too, kind of nichio. It's a little bifurcatey. Hmm. See, we made like super quick progress at the beginning, and now we're stuck. At this point, I've made poor Tom wait this long. I'll continue with my stubbornness, and we'll make Tom wait even longer for me to to solve this one. Um, let's see. What is the right path forward? Using our givens, right? Without doing some crazy stuff, right? Obviously, we have the 6. 6 is going to be fairly restricted here. Problem is where this is located, this doesn't really, like the way this is placed, this doesn't actually do anything additional for us. I guess with a 1-3 pair, we've accounted for 1-3 in our Fistemifel ring, if we wanted to take that approach. Somewhere we still need 5-7. It's not going to go in, like the 7's not going to go in this Fistemifel ring. Counted for the 2. One of the 2's. Oh, and the second 2 and a 4. One 3. We're gonna need another 3 somewhere along here, but also a 6. I guess 6 has a few places it could go, right? 6 could go here, 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 or here, or here around the ring. 8. 8 has some restrictions as well, right? 8 can't go here, 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 or here, but it could go 1, 2, 3, or 4 just fine. I have a feeling Fist and Fell is not where we need to be looking, but for some reason it draws me in. Well, actually, it's not just for some reason. 9, we were talking about that at the beginning. 9 is restricted on these cells and also all of these cells. So 9 can never go anywhere on the Fistmanfel ring, which means none of these cells could ever be 9. That's actually quite interesting. Obviously, these two couldn't be 9 in the first place, but it's fine. Um, does that do anything interesting for us? I'd like to think it should, right? Because, like here, for example, 9 is never going to go next to the 2 here. So we actually get 9 in these two cells, which will give us 9 here. Obviously, we know the 9 will go here, and that gives us 9 in these cells. Sorry, 9 can't go there. 9 in these two cells. Normally, that would be interesting because if you can, I will pencil mark just to explain this concept. If you can pencil mark a pair like this within a box and you know that that's the only option for it within that box or row, column, whatever, then you can additionally say that these two cells couldn't be 9, ignoring the 9 in the center, because if this was a 9, then it would see this cell by Sudoku and this cell by Knight's move. And if this was a 9, it would see this cell by Sudoku and this cell by Knight's move. So given that we have this 9 pencil marking, it would say that 9 could never go in those cells. So just a little interesting, I guess, tidbit there. And that's interesting for us, though, just because we end up with this sort of pattern here where this 2 is the thing that breaks it. And actually, this couldn't be 9 either because then 8 would go here. So we actually do break it in that way. Um, I think that's kind of neat. You know, it's not anything revolutionary. It hasn't gotten us anything, but it is interesting. I would have loved to say that that gave us something more, but it is a neat little thing that I guess I never considered about specifically an anti-knight's diagonal Sudoku. Um, I guess there's other ways, like you could just have these as given digits and then have a knight's digit in the middle. That could be an interesting concept for a Fist Mafellian puzzle. Yeah, someone's probably already thought about that, but I just thought about it now, so it's revolutionary. Um, maybe we should be thinking about this. It's kind of weird, but perhaps there's something there that could move us forward, right? Because it could never be 1, 2. It could never have 4, so it couldn't be 3, 4. It could be 5, 6, specifically in that order, right? Could be 6, 7 in either order, but it could never be 8 or 9. So actually, it always has to have 6 on it, right? It's either 5, 6, or 6, 7. 6 would then go in these two cells here, because of course it couldn't go next to the 2, because this is only 1 or 4. Problem is these two cells spread across two different boxes. So 6, 5, 7. Well, actually, that means that it's 5, 6, 7 because this is 5. Yeah. So this is actually a 5, 6, 7 triple that I wasn't thinking about because this is going to be the 5, 7 pair here. And this relates to this up here. So 5, 6, 7 triple leaves us with this having to be a 3. Look at that. And if this has to be a 3, then one of these two cells has to be a 3, which means this is a 3, 7 pair, which means this is a 1, 5 pair. Three, 7 pair. Problem is it sees like this cell, for example. This can't be 3 or 7, but we already knew it couldn't be 7. I guess we additionally know it can't be 3 now. This cell can't be 3 or 7, though we already knew that. This cell can't be 3 or 7. I guess now we know it can't be 7. This cell can't be 3 or 7, so it can't be 7. But yeah, it's interesting. 5, 6, 7. Let's keep going with this because otherwise we need to consider what? 1, 4. Oh well, 1, 4, 9. We know that this can't be 9. Or wait, 5, 6, 7. Did I break something? 1, 4, 9. This can't be 1 or 4. It would have to be 9. But if this is 9, where does it go on the Fistamifel ring? Is this not a 5, 6, 7? 1 second. This could never be 3. Because then 5 and 7 would both have to go in this cell. Okay, that's correct. 3 can't go here. Can 3 go here? 3, 2. It could be 3, 4. Why did I say it couldn't be that? I'm not actually sure. Why can't it be 3, 4? This could be 3, this could be 4. I don't see any problems with that. I guess I just saw the 4s and I ignored it because of the 2, because I said it can't be 2, 3, so it can't be 4 either. It can be 3, 4. So that was the assumption I made that was wrong. So it's either 3, 4, 5, 6, or 6, 7. I guess technically now we know it can't be 5, 6, 7 triple, but that's more like a negation sort of thing. Like I know it can't be 5, 6, 7, so it has to be 3, 4, right? But let's see if we can be. I guess is that really that look ahead? I don't know. If it was, we'd have a 5, 6, 7 triple, right? Which would mean if we look at our options here, we need to place 1, 3, 4, and 9, right? The problem is 3 can't go here, here, here. Well, this can't be 1, 3, or 4. There we go. So if this was a 5, 6, 7 triple, this can't be 1, 3, or 4, which would force this to be 9, but we know that that's not possible because of Fistamifel. That's that's an interesting approach. Maybe there's probably something cleaner if I was actually pencil marking, but I guess what are my considerations otherwise, right? 1, 3, 4 is like 3 itself is fairly restricted here, right? 3 is fairly restricted. So is 9. But 1, 4, right? 4, 4 can't be in any of these cells. So 4 would have to go here or here. Those are the only two options. Yeah. 4 went here instead. We have the 1, 4 pair there. Either way, 4 stares up the column, doesn't it? Is that what I can figure out from this? Right, if we think about 4, 4 can't go here, 4 can't go in any of these cells. So it's either 4 here, which would force 4 here, or it's 4 here. Either way, these two cells, oh yeah, that's what I've been missing. These two cells have to contain 4. Hello. We have had that for a little bit there. So that's a digit. I do see some bits of like rotational symmetry. It's not like fully perfect yet, but it feels like it really wants to be like the 1 3 3. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a 1, if this was a 4 2, right? 5 across from 7, 6 across from 8, 9 would be our central cell. Like it would make sense if we end up with rotational symmetry, but I didn't want to say anything because I'm not certain of it yet, but yeah, it's coming together. It's coming together. And we know that 4 certainly has to go on the Fistmafell ring. That would be this 4 here. I guess the interesting question would be is can we put another 4 on the Fistmafell ring somewhere? Like is there another place for a 4? I guess it could be here because then if it was here then 4 would go here. So you do have an option to put a third 4 around the ring. Ah, but you don't. See, this is interesting because we know that this 4, right? This 4 we're going to say is this 4. This 4 is going to be a 4 up here. But actually we know it has to be between these two cells. But if because that's the case, we can actually place the 4. So that's really what we needed to do. We can place the 4 here. That's the only place. And now it's about where can we place another 4 in the grid? Well, 4 is going to go here, 4 here, here. So this, because of our knight's move. So this is the only place for 4, and that now that I've placed this 4 here, ultimately it means that we cannot have another 4 around the Fistmafell ring, right? None of these cells can be another 4, which means this cannot contain the 4. This must in fact be the 4. And if this in fact is the 4, then this has to be 4, and that tells us that this is then 3. See, I knew there would be something a little bit cleaner. I would like to claim that that is cleaner. I like that better than saying, well, I know this can't be 5, 6, 7. It's more about, we know 4 goes here, that gives us 4 here. Where can 4 go? Here to then satisfy our Fistmafell conditions, and then can we put another 4 in the ring? I think that that was very nice. I don't know if that's what Tom was going for there, but hopefully he appreciated that bit of logic in any case. So now, with that, let's think about it. 9 can't go here or here. 9 can't go here, so 9 is restricted. What are we really missing? We're missing 1, 5, 6, 7, 9. It's actually a few different options. So what can we do? Oh, 3, of course. 3. Hello. Now that we have that, it resolves our 1-3 pair. Then 3 has to go in one of these two cells, which places 3, right? Which places 3 down here because 3 has to go in one of these two cells. So if 3 is restricted to the left-hand side and 3 is restricted to the left-hand side here, then the only option is, right, these two columns have been accounted for, so this must be the 3 then. Ultimately, that's what we get. And 3 is going to be, actually, we know where it is now, right? 3 is restricted here, restricted here and here. This has to be 3. And if now, with all of that, if this is 3, then this is 3 here. 5 is going to have to go here. 1 is going to have to go here, and this is 7. One in one of these two cells. This is the one here around the ring. We already did that. We'll need another one that we need to account for. Theoretically, it'll be here with our rotational symmetry, but let's see. I don't see anything better right now. We do get one here, so let's do that. One is going to go in one of these two cells. Can we do better? I guess one in one of these two cells. This logic does no, but we already knew that because one would go in one of these two cells, so we did know that one was restricted here. So that's actually not new. It is interesting though. It is an application of that, but it doesn't work in this case to help us because we already knew that. I guess one will go in one of these two cells here actually, and these two cells say this can't be 1, but it still gives us an option for 1 in any of these cells. One, 5, 6, 7, 9. 5, 6, 1, 7, or 9, though, are all valid. Hmm. Maybe here, 6, 8, and 1. This can't be 6 or 8. There we go. So this is 1. Then with that, we can place 3 here. There we go. Seeing the symmetry come together. 3 here. We're actually just missing one more 3. This is 3 there, and that should be all 9 threes. Now let's see with this additional 1 if that gets us anything. Right, 1 gives us one of these two cells. Um, I guess actually we do know something, right? Because 1 is going to go in one of these two cells. It's funny, I did mention that. I'm like almost 100% sure I mentioned that, and then I didn't actually apply it. Um, now, done our crop keys, right? So it literally is just going to be an anti-knight thing. I guess we do still need to consider the 5-7 pair here. The 5-7, like I said, is already accounted for in our Fistemafel. Six, right? 8. 8 is going to be restricted to these cells. 6 is going to be restricted to these cells. If we're going to be doing our opposite pairs, we'll go 1, 3, 3, but no 1 here. And yeah, it's just about where we place the 6, 8 and the 5, 7. 8, 5, 7. Well, the 5, 7 is going to be already accounted for here. So let's just say like 6 goes here, 8 goes here. Then we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Oh, wait, something doesn't add up. Oh, and the 1, of course. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Things that need to be accounted for. This can only be 6 or 7. That's interesting. Yeah, it's like here, the 9 is spread a little more thin, but not enough to help out. Because, like, yeah, 9 can't go here, but in the column, it could still go here, right? 9 could go in any of these 3 cells down the column. This can't be 6, but it could be 5 or 9. This can't be 9, but as far as I can tell, it can be 5 or 6, and this can be any of them. If it's 6, we satisfy our 6 on the Fistula ring. If it's 5, we just need another 5 somewhere, and currently, where could we place that? It would have to go like here or here. We know if it has to be 7, 8, or 9. It can't be 9. We already knew that. So between 7 and 8, can we actually do better? No, because if this was 7, then 7 could just go here or here. I don't really see a problem with that currently. And actually, if this was 7, it would make this 5, which would mean this would be... Oh, wait, no, then let me think about that. 7 would force this to be 7. So it actually can't be 7, because there would be nowhere for 7 to go in this box, right? this cell sees this cell, but also this cell, right? Whatever this is here in this, or if this is 7 here, then this has to be 7. We know it can't be 9. So that fully restricts our options, which means it can't be 7. It must, in fact, be 8, which means we actually have a 7-9 pair that stares down the column, which leaves us with 6 and 8 remaining, and this must be 6, and this must be 8 then. And that gives us 6 here. 8 gives us, we get 8 here. 8 here gives us 8 here. Then, what are we looking at? 8 and 1 are both, so this is a 1-8 pair then. 1-8. One 8 pair here. What does that do? Obviously 5, 7, 9 across where it's a chocolate teapot. This can't be 5, this can't be 7, and this can't be 9. This is also 5, 7, 9 here, where this can't be 7, so this is 5 or 9. Oh, and this can't be 7 either. So where does 7 go in the column? Only option is here now that we've placed the 8, which means this is 5. And if this is 5, then this is 5. And if this is 5, then this is 5. Then this is a 5-9 pair, just like this is a 7-9 pair. And 5-9 leaves us with 1 and 6, which again works out with our symmetry, but we're not just using symmetry to solve everything. That does give us 1-8. Oh, which means we need a third 8 on the Fistamafel ring, which means 8 must go there. Yeah, okay, and what that means for us here, 6. 6 goes here. We need a third 6 on the Fistamafel ring. If this is 6, then this is 6. And that's 2 6s, and we need a third 6 on the Fistamafel ring. There we go. That is all of it. And I think from here, it's going to be a little over 40 minutes, but we are going to be done, folks. Absolutely done. So 7 gives us 7, gives us 7, gives us 7, gives us 7 and 7, gives us 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. We'll just go around the grid here, place those missing bits. This is 5, 5, 5, and 5, and 8. And we are done in 40 minutes and 18 seconds with the first set is free by Walking Writer. All right, well, obviously I was stubborn on that, but I think it was well worth solving pencil mark lists, sans pencil marks, as I like to say. And yeah, with that, I hope you tried it for yourself. Hopefully you didn't try it without pencil marks, but if you did, then let me know what you figured out to help you move forward in your path. With that, I hope you enjoyed, and as always, thank you for watching.